Governor Peter Ndubi Simba of Enugu State. 95% of Igbo people want to see Mazi Nnamdi Kanu released. Governor Ndubi Simba, they're already planning for next election. Somebody should copy this message, send it to the governor of Enugu State, and I have to tell him the truth. Governor Peter Ndubi Simba, you are a representative of Igbo. Have you started to ask yourself, what about 20th of November? What if they send Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to death by hand, or by fire, or life imprisonment? What are we going to do? Igemeko election at 2027. Governor of Anambra State, Hope Uzodimma, Alex Oti, Oboni Anwifuru. All of you should cover your faces with shame. Okwuluora ndị Igbo, ọbụna magbara unu eziokwu, Chineke were ndụ m. So onye na-atụ egwu bụ ekekere ụwa. Oliver Lukoku si na onye nwanne ya nọ n'ụzọ, n'ụra ada atụ ya, n'ihe oriri ada agụ ya. O si na eme nwata ka emere ibi ya, obi dị ya mma. With all due respect, I'm going to mention names. Asari Dokubo, Government Tompolo, His Royal Majesty, Ateketom, Amayanabo for Kereka. Somebody like Sunday Igbo, with all due respect, Amayanabo for Kereka. Igwe no Kereka Ateketom. We got similar issues with federal government of Nigeria. Their people went to federal government and negotiated. Nobody in Igbo land want to talk about Nnamdi Kanu. Nobody want to talk about the court judgment he obtained. Nobody want to talk about the compensation. Everybody want re-election. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was called in Enugu, I think in 2019, when Governor Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi was there. They told Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to drop Biafra and make demands. He said, okay, before the conversation, make Onitsha a seaport, a proper seaport. Construct second Niger bridge. Make Enugu airport, an international airport. Is this too much to ask, Governor of Enugu State? Is it not high time to take 1 minute and say, Mr. President, my people, Igbo people are clamoring, they are demanding, they want the unconditional release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Soludona Agboegu, a professor without dignity, a professor without integrity, a professor without shame. I've not been here for a very long time due to a lot of concerns. I was in broadcasting, but and the Igbo tribe, the Igbo state, the Igbo nation on a critical state at this point in time, and all of us, the Nigerian court was aga a verdict in Nnamdi Kanu on the 20th of November, and a lot of us are not worried. Well, particularly myself, I'm worried. That is why on the Madroma, but I have to do this broadcast. I say now. I want you to host a watch party. Copy the link to your friends on Twitter, on Instagram, or Messenger. Copy the link of this broadcast to every Igbo platform in America, in Germany, in UK, in Japan, in Senegal, even here in Igbo land. Every Igbo man needs to listen and understand why I am doing this broadcast. It's going to cost you only 2 seconds or thereabout to share this video. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has been detained by the authorities of Nigeria for years, and nobody's talking about it. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is having a valid court order here in Nigeria, and the order says, give Mazi Nnamdi Kanu bail. And a certain court in Kenya granted Mazi Nnamdi Kanu certain amount of money compensation because of what they call something. Let me not say what I don't know because I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a law student and I don't practice law. So I'm going to limit this whole broadcast or story to the best of my knowledge. Nnamdi Kanu was accused of doing broadcast and all that. 1 month ago, we saw the same government of Nigeria negotiating with terrorists. You know what it means to be terrorist? And that is exactly why, more reason why President of the United States called Nigeria a disgraced country. You know what it means to categorize or to call the most populous, the most populated, the most talked about black nation or country a disgraced one? Coming from, after Jesus Christ, after God in heaven, the greater man, After Jesus Christ in heaven, it should be whoever that is the president of the United States of America. Ojukwu was in same scenario. Sometime during the war, Ojukwu had to flee from Nigeria to Ivory Coast. And who fell to Buai? Then president of Ivory Coast gave Ojukwu shelter. Ojukwu na Yakubu Gowon no Norogo. Ojukwu na Ivory Coast. Yakubu Gowon no Nigeria. Oliver the Coke wait egwu si na onye nwanne ya nọ n'ụzọ na ife oliri ada agụ ya na ụra ada atụ ya osi ke Captain Ojukwu Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu yesi na Ivory Coast. Yakubu Gowon bụ onye betray. Yakubu Gowon was the man who went against the Aburi Accord. Osi na onye nwanne ya nọ n'ụzọ na ife oliri ada agụ ya na ụra ada atụ ya. Shehu Shagari was the president of Nigeria. Alex Ekwueme of Oko was the vice president. Ndi Igbo ji wee biri. Sam Mbakwe, then governor of Imo State. Governor of Anambra State, Jim Ifeanyi Chukwumobodo. Somebody like Kemafia, Chubo Kadibo. Somebody like Nwafo Orizu, Akwekonwe Orizu, na cousin ya bụ Igwe Orizu, Igwe Nnewi. Somebody like Izuchukwu Transport. Somebody like Ekenediri Chukwu. Stephen Edumude. Asi ke ihe na-eme. Abale Sekwueme. Asi abata. Na ife abarụ. Na Ikemba nọ Ivory Coast. Ọ nọ exile for 12 years. Ndị Igbo bịa together. Eje meeting. Yoba Shagari biko. Negotiate ye. Ojukwu return to Igbo land. He said something. He made it categorically clear. Ojukwu si na onye ọkụkọ ya nọ n'ukwu osisi. Ọkacha oke ọkpa na-eso nwunye ọkụkọ ana. Ojukwu si ọ bụ na ọkụkọ gị nọ n'ukwu osisi. Gị ka jie ya okwu tobe ya ụnọ. Ihe obi n'ụbọ akụluo ụnọ. Ndị Igbo bịa develop unu bụ unu. Ọ na-eme oke ọkụkọ si nwunye ọkụkọ pụọ. O sori ya larụ. Nwunye ọkụkọ pụọ n'ụtụtụ. Oke ọkụkọ sori ya pụọ. Before you know it, onye nwe oke ọkụkọ chọba ya achọ. I watch him birthday. I like him Nwa Tinubu so much. I don't tribalistic. I only tell you the facts and figures. Nwa Tinubu, Sheyi Tinubu. I'm from Sheyi Tinubu as a very simple guy. A guy named pride. Even though now they project here to be the next governor of Lagos State, son of the president, commander-in-chief of the armed forces, son of Senator Remi Tinubu. Sheyi Tinubu kale kumakia. Sheyi Tinubu was to birthday ya. All Igbo big boys. All of them went to the birthday party of Sheyi Tinubu. None of them told Sheyi Tinubu about Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Governor of Ebonyi State, Governor Bonyangu Ifurubonye APC, Governor Tinubu from all accounts. I have never seen Governor Tinubu before. Manandini na Tinubu mekogoriye, Sena Tinubu de reliable, not the worthy. No kwagim kwa no gemi fa, no gemi ya. Governor Bonyangu Ifuru. Bonye APC. Governor Hope Uzodimma. Governor Hope Uzodimma Bonye APC. Governor Charles Soludo is almost in APC. We don't know the situation of Governor of Abia State, Alex Oti. Deputy Speaker, House of Rep, Right Honorable Benjamin Kalu Bonyi Abia State. Honorable Benjamin Kalu Ibo Abia State. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu Abia State. If I let a time game with ndị Igwe na Igbo, oge a na-enwe natural Igwe, oge a na-enwe organic Igwe, Igwe a na-enwezi na Igwe certificate. Ọ na-agba m anya mmiri na Igbo, na gọvanọ pụta, local government chairman pụta, Igwe kwụrụ ọtọ, aha arụ ka ọ bụ na Igbo. Ọ na-echeta eme Eze Awọkọ, Eze Joe, Igwe Nzam, Igwe Jesi Emeka of Ụmụ Ezanam, Igwe Orizu na Nnewi, Igwe Nata n'Ogbu. I don't know where we go from here. The current governor of Enugu State by APC, Governor Peter Mba, and when Peter Mba perform well, I tell you, when Peter Mba perform poorly, I tell you, my relationship and personal love for Peter Mba cannot be. It's not negotiable. I have utmost respect for Governor of Enugu State, Governor Barrister Peter Nnamdi Kanu. Peter Mba by APC. And that's why Peter Mba by APC. I see now connect Igbo and Enugu to the center. Governor Peter Nnamdi Kanu is now in APC. Governor Peter Nnamdi Simba, with all due respect, I'm not advice. I'm not in government. I'm not a politician. Governor Peter Nnamdi Simba, if you want to win the heart of Igbo people, go to Abuja. You are in Abuja. Governor Peter Nnamdi Simba of Enugu State. 95% of Igbo people want to see Mazi Nnamdi Kanu released. Nobody cares about your re-election. You are going to govern Enugu State for 8 years. Governor Peter Mba, Afungi the other time with the Air Force. You are flying with Air Force on national assignments. Your son, your brother, is in DSS custody in Abuja. Governor Nnamdi Simba, for the past 2 months in Enugu State, and when you find out, because our governor they negotiate APC, negotiate APC, they are already planning for next election. Somebody should copy this message, send it to the governor of Enugu State. He's my brother. I love him so much, and I have to tell him the truth. And may pray, see Governor Peter Mba more former. Peter Mba currently had a more former. How many days can Peter Mba spend in Enugu State? Ask yourself, and where run Enugu State in the last 2 months? Governor Peter Mba by APC. Nobody cares about that. Governor Peter Nnamdi Simba, you are in fact, you are a representative of Igbo. Enugu is the capital of Igbo land. Have you sat to ask yourself, what about 20th of November? What if they sentence Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to death by hand, Chukwekwena, or by fire, Chukwekwena, or life? What are we going to do? Igemeko election at 2027. Governor of Enugu State, Governor of Anambra State, Hope Uzodimma, Alex Oti, Obonyanwe Ifuru. All of you should cover your faces with shame. Okwuluora and Igbo. I fear no human being. Sonya na atu egwu be kekere ụwa. Oliver Lukoku si na onye nwanne ya nọ n'ụzọ. N'ụra ada atụ ya. N'ihe oriri ada agụ ya. O si na eme nwata ka emere ibi ya obi dị ya mma. With all due respect, I'm going to mention names. Asari Dokubo, Government Tompolo, His Royal Majesty Ateketom, Amayanabo for Kereka. Somebody like a Sunday Igbo. With all due respect, Amayanabo for Kereka. Igwe no Kereka Ateketom. Nde we go similar issues with federal government of Nigeria. Their people went to federal government and negotiated. Nobody in Igbo land want to talk about Nnamdi Kanu. Nobody want to talk about the court judgment you obtained. Nobody want to talk about the compensation. Everybody want re-election. Governor Soludo, if you like, you govern Anambra for 50 years. One day, nature is going to retire you. Governor Peter Nnamdi Simba, if you like, rule Enugu State for 50 years. Nature is going to retire you. And I tell you people one thing. One day, Igbo youths are going to rise against all of you. All of you are selfish. Governor Peter Nnamdi Simba, you connected to the center. You connected to APC. What are the dividends? Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was called in Enugu, I think in 2019. When Governor Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi was there, they told Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to drop Biafra and make demands. He said, okay, before the conversation, make Onitsha a seaport, a proper seaport. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said, make Igbocha a seaport, a proper seaport. Construct second Niger bridge. Make Enugu airport, an international airport. Is this too much to ask? Onye obuna no Enugu mana Peter Mbe birozi na Enugu. I love Peter Mbe so much, man. I didn't atu yegu. Any then to Romani Bemegu, Chineke Warendum. As the federal government in our governor of Enugu State contract, EJ rehabilitate all the police facilities in Nigeria. Governor of Enugu State is now moving with the Presidential Air Force. Governor of Enugu State. Is it not high time to take 1 minute and say, Mr. President, my people, Igbo people are clamoring. They are demanding They want the unconditional release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Is it too much? And I'm Enugu. When if I run Enugu now? As of 6 months ago, Enugu one of the fastest rising city or state in Africa. Everything is on hold because our governor moved to APC, and we were told that if you go to APC, everything is going to be easy. Governor Peter and to be simple, but where is your conscience? People of Enugu are lamenting. People are complaining. Soludo na Agboegu, a professor without dignity, a professor without integrity, a professor without shame. Governor Soludo doesn't behave like a professor. On about sin and mad a professor, on when who stays, on when composure, or man how to talk. Governor Soludo of almighty Anambra State is turning into a stand-up comedian. Alex Oti, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, by the virtue of state and origin, is from Abia State. Governor Hope Uzodimma, Abia ni Imo Bofiye, Aini Nebundi Igbo. Before 1970, in fact, as at 1976, there were only 2 Igbo states, Anambra or Enugu. Anambra ni Imo. Enugu and Abia were created in 1991. Ebonyi in 1996. Atuo Mazi Nnamdi Kanu nga, what are we going to do? Juo onwegi, kebe Sunday Igbo hono, kebe igwe ate kamba warrior no igwe. Ama enaba for krika. They had similar cases with Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Their people came. Sometimes, so about the personality. It's about pride. It's about identity. It's about the people. Every day, but Mazi Nnamdi Kanu na court. Emeya caricature. Or you know Fuakwa. For how many years? Our governor in Enugu is flying a presidential jet. Our governor in Enugu is dining with the president, commander-in-chief of the armed forces. Our governor in Enugu is more concerned about the election in 2027. If you win election in 2027, it's remaining 4 years. Before you close your eyes and open it, 4 years will elapse. You are no longer the governor of Enugu State. With all due respect, Mr. Governor. Every day, no Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Let's assume no in 1982, Stephen Edumude, Chubo Kadibo, Oliver the Coke, Dan Ubajaka, Siani Lodibe, Ekenendowa, Deputy Governor of Anambra State. Roy Umeni, I'm Deputy Governor of Anambra State then. Alan Sekweme, Oliver the Coke, Nebe, Ndini Nachi Nigeria, Ekenendono. Nuna meguye nukwara inankwa. Alahaji Galadima. Osi ekenederea. President Shao Shagari. Akenachi Nigeria. Ekenederea. Who is going to be man enough to approach President of Nigeria and talk about Mazi Nnamdi Kanu? Governor Hope Uzodimma. Governor Peter Mba. Shaman, all of you. Yere mebunu nine. In my presence, none of you is fit. I remember when I was a little boy in Anambra State. The governor was Chinua Kembadinuju. Chinua Kembadinuju was everything. Chinua Kembadinuju was shamelessly buried last year. Onyo so geboriga wo. Look at the warlord. Chukwu Emeka Odumegwu Chukwu, the only Ikembe enwe na Igbo. On 6 feet. The Zeke of Africa. Zeke in 6 feet. Asene, ha yizo na ya Chineke. Mgbe ị na-ekpuchi mmehie gị, chee na enwere anya n'afọ gị. Governor Enugu State bụ nwanne m, I love him so much. But presently, Governor of Enugu State in our committee, a lot of indigenes of Enugu are crying for one reason or the other. If I don't say it, Chineke warendum. Dear Governor of Enugu State, how many days are you spending in Enugu? How many days are you spending outside of Enugu? You are taking up a national contract. Are there no competent people, engineers, contractors in Nigeria that is going to take up the contract of rehabilitating all the police institutions in Nigeria? Enugu Kanebakwa, and you are the man in charge, roaming around with private jets. Chineke Bomoku man spare word ever. You think you will remain the governor of Enugu, remain the governor of Anambra, remain the governor of Imo, if the jet Mazi Nnamdi Kanu? As in Andi Igbo they check if you they check what? Obu na ge men Nnamdi Kanu ifa. Or this successful. What if it comes your turn? Look at the capacity of Ike Ekweremadu. Ike Chukwu Ekweremadu. Deputy Senate President then. Look at the predicament on here. It tells you one thing. What do we do? On 20th, the court says we are going to rule on Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, and they told him to file a defense. He said, why would I file a defense? There is existing court order which Nigerian state refused to obey. Even under Buhari, that judgment came. Nigeria refused to adhere to a court ruling. Somebody had a court near judgment. Nobody wants to adhere to court judgment or ruling. And you want to try such person, same person in the court. He said, I have no confidence in the court. Right Honorable Benjamin Kalu, Governor Peter Ndubuisimba, Governor Boni Anwifuru, Governor Hope Uzodimma, Governor Alex Oti, Governor Charles Soludo, the stand-up comedian. We are watching with keen interest. If anything goes wrong on 28th, Igbo people will never forgive all of you. Igbo people will never, ever forgive all of you. I don't know for how many years. I know the other month, or last month. Now, somewhere in northern Nigeria, Kafulani Esmanu Buegbe, Burafo, Narianonu, they negotiate with Nigerian government. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, Makasi no Kuroku na radio. He said something on radio. Ejidia for how many years? When somebody government they negotiate with them. Thank you very much and God bless.